Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, you guys, this one's going back a few years. Just shows how many police departments, federal agencies, churches, ABC agencies, government officials that have been ignoring this for so long. So this is from the Tampa Bay Times. Lawsuit says Scientology violated child labor laws. Yeah, Department of Education, how about that? Teen worked hundreds of hours, didn't attend school, suit says. How many times we keep seeing this? By Thomas C. Tobin, Times staff, published March 5th, 2011. I don't even like how they start this off. A runaway from the Church of Scientology. You see that they're trying to paint this young person as somebody bad right away. Could he be a runaway because he was abused? Maybe he was sexually abused. Maybe he was labor trafficked. Maybe his parents didn't give an F about him. That's the wrong way to label this child. It bothers me. Restrictive religious order. Order. Again with the order, you guys. You guys know the order. Like order of cow. The Sea Org alleges in 2 lawsuits filed Friday that the church violated California laws regulating child labor, wages, and school attendance. I'd like to know where this gentleman is now. Hopefully he didn't off himself, like so many of them do. Daniel Montalvo, who turns 20 today, also contends his parents, who remain in the Sea Org, neglected him and breached their duty. Yeah, how about that? Breach their duty. All these children cooking for the adults, that's called breaching duty, Scientology parents. So you guys have just a little time to do right, or else you're going to be in big trouble by the authorities. And it might not be the authorities that you think it might be. It's a fact. Contends his parents who remain in the Sea Org neglected him and breached their duty to protect him from harm by ceding his care to the church cult. Oh, here's freaking ignorant Tommy again. My opinion. Church spokesman Tommy Davis said Friday night the church has not been served with the suits and could not comment on them. Comment. He noted Montalvo took Church of Scientology property, computer hard drives. How many times have we heard that one before? Like even the little girls that were essayed, I believe they accuse them of such crimes as well. And the cops are fine with that, yeah. It does make you wonder about the cops, doesn't it? Huh. He noted Montalvo took Church of Scientology property, computer hard drives, when he left. Who said it was church property? How do you guys know it's not his? Huh? You scared something's going to get out, Scientology? When he left, valued at tens of thousands of dollars. You guys must be scared the auditing material might get out, huh? Of all those raped children? Yeah, that's probably what you're scared of. Then, with the help of church defectors, Montalvo moved them across state lines. Oh, how you guys keep moving the children across the state lines? Even the ones from Costa Rica and Venezuela and England and Ireland and Sweden. How you keep moving those poor innocent little children across the state lines? Even the ones who were essayed? Huh. Or forcing them into marriages that they don't want against their will, which is illegal. Born in Ecuador. Of course. Of course. Sí, claro. Born in Ecuador, Montalvo moved with his parents, parientes, to the church's spiritual headquarters. No, that's where all the money's made. And all the essays, man. Like, Clearwater is an essay hub, just so everybody, if you don't know, now you know. When he was cinco años, niño. He stayed there until age 15. Where the fuck were his parents? When he was transferred to Los Angeles. LAPD, how about that? I bet you don't know anything about it, do you? Are you guys derelicting your duty over there in LA? It kind of seems that way. Dereliction of duty? Not protecting children being raped? Huh. Where he worked at church facilities until leaving last September. The lawsuits filed in state court in Los Angeles include allegations that Montalvo, I just want to add in too, isn't it amazing how you never hear anything until these children grow up and escape? Because they're all held prisoner in the child RPF, in the basements, in the blue building basements, in the pee-infested beds, bunk beds. Was permitted to attend school about 1 day a week. They're just doing what the State Department of Education or Federal Department of Education requires, I bet. And nobody knows anything, do they? Because working for Sea Org took priority. You know, child labor. Spent his childhood working at least 40 hours a week, and often more than 100 hours a week, for pay that ranged from $35 to $50 a week. How many have we heard of this? How many? Had no work permits. Yeah, that's against the law as well. Required of minors. They don't have work permits. They use the R1 visas and get the children in there. They rape them. They traffic them across state lines. What else do they do? Physically abuse them, like Wally Hanks and others. Or like the one girl was explaining, the Australian, when she was a girl, the senior Sea Org member, he liked to you know the M word, on the little boy's bed in front of her. And nothing was done. Shark food. Was made to work back-to-back 12-hour days in the fall of 2007, when the church was pushing its staff to produce and sell a new book release. And none of the adults knew anything, did they? And I'm not shading all the adults, you guys, just be clear on that. Who I'm shading is the ones directly involved. Because you see how they're allowed to do this is all this compartmentalization. And I'll talk about that one day. I will. I'm going to get into that. From 2008 to 2010, was punished along with other workers. You mean like other children workers? Other children workers, child slaves, child laborers, child trafficked. For lack of production. They were downstat, you see. And nobody knew anything about it, did they? He was made to run laps wearing a jacket and tie. Clean grease traps. They're really into this grease thing. Remember the little 6-year-old that had grease all over him? The one where the sister had to free him? She had to appeal to L. Ron Hubbard, which no longer exists because when Miscavige took over, he stopped all that. He didn't care. And do push-ups. So let's see, Department of Education doesn't care, Immigration and Naturalization Services don't care, Federal Bureau of Investigation doesn't care, Homeland Security doesn't care, Child Protective Services doesn't care, What about all the other churches? A lot of them are doing this too, let's be real. But the decent church members, like, why aren't they trying to speak out on this? And yeah, we know some of them have. Now's the time. Lottie-dottie and everybody. Worked past midnight for 2 months in 2009. After rising at 6 a.m. each day. Oh, by the way, for all the dumb MNFers that don't know anything, the children have to go to muster 5 times a day in 2024. That's what he's talking about, that 6 a.m. wake-up call for how old he was, 6, 7 years old. Yeah. And they do the musters so that people don't escape, including children. Which, we all know LAPD and Clearwater PD just take them straight back to the compound. And, I'm sure in some ways their hands are tied, but, any of the decent PD out there, they're going to need people to back them up. They can't do it by themselves. Oh, look at this, you guys, again. Just like Mike Brown talked about. Digging ditches for lack of production. Well, this kid, he didn't, his stats were down. So his production wasn't high. Hubbard was all about production. Lazy, fat slob that he was. Suffered an accident at age 16, of course. Now, labor laws would require certain safety precautions, but Scientology doesn't follow anything. And everybody's fine with it. Suffered an accident at age 16 while cleaning a notching machine at the listen, wait for this, you guys, it's a big one. At the church's printing unit, Bridge Publications. Half of his right index finger was cut off. Cut off. Had his finger cut off. And nothing happened. And no ambulance was called. I guess this little boy had nowhere to run and nowhere to hide, didn't he? The lawsuit asserts. It says Montalvo was taken to the hospital. Which hospital? I'm just tired, you guys. But told by the Sea Org. Who the fuck are the Sea Org that told him? We need to have names at this point. I'm done. I'm not covering up from anybody, for anybody. I'm not helping any of these child abusers. If you're trying to help the children, I respect you. Do the right thing if you're still in Scientology. Do the right thing no matter who you are, no matter what unit you're in, no matter what leg, you're pulling up or pushing up on your leg. Do the right thing, bro. But told by the Sea Org to tell doctors he was a volunteer. He was not to mention Scientology. That's called aiding and abetting. That's called covering up crimes. That's called covering up child abuse, child protective services. Anybody? State of California, anybody? A lot of these states are in on all of this. My opinion. Oh, I gotta breathe. I'm making banana bread. It smells good. According to one of the 2 lawsuits, Montalvo's parents effectively abandoned him. Yeah, shouldn't they be in jail? I think they should be in jail, right? By law. And his caretakers in the church, the cult, failed to adequately educate him or provide sufficient care, including medical treatment. Isn't that called medical neglect? Sorry I'm yelling, you guys. You guys know I get so irritated. Intentionally deprived of the basic skills needed to permit him to become a functioning adult member of society. Yeah, and he lost part of his index finger because of it. And still nobody does anything. This was 2011. So that was, 13, 14 years ago? Something like that. Daniel now comes before the court, a 19-year-old man. See, he had to wait until he was of age, right? Because they had him imprisoned in those camps. Imprisoned. And everybody went along with it. So that's called aiding and abetting. I don't want to hear the LRH policies. That's aiding and abetting in crimes. And harboring criminals in there, etc. A 19-year-old man with an 8th grade education, without assets, just like they want them, without a resume despite having labored for hundreds of hours per week. Oh, I'm sure a construction company would hire him like in a minute, if that's what he wanted. You know, just some like a nice side hustle till you get some money. Hundreds of hours per week over the last 5 years. The lawsuit states, every adult in Daniel's childhood failed him. Facts! So I'm tired of the excuses. And if you don't want to admit that your mother, your father were abusive, that's on you. I'm not here to denigrate and put people down, but this is child abuse, and it's really time people start admitting to it. Or time for some, what is it called, amends, or not amends, but, you know, saying that you're sorry for what you did. Montalvo also has filed a wage and hour claim, which none of them go through. The Wage and Labor Department, the Headley's case didn't go through either. And I got thoughts on that, but and it's wrong. They're trying to use that religious clause. And anybody that had some real cojones would push it through. I'm tired of this garbage. Division of Labor Standards seeking more than $150,000 in back wages for the 3 years 2007 to 2010. He worked for Bridge Publications. It's time Bridge Publications got sued as well. Davis called the claim absurd. They're just all like one answer ducks over there. It's absurd. It's preposterous. They don't know how to think for themselves. Davis, the new Rinder, you know. Other Sea Org members have taken the church to court in recent years, making similar claims, but Montalvo's case differs in that it invokes laws protecting children, says his lawyer, S. Christopher Kit Winter. In one notable case, Claire and Mark Headley of California sued in federal court contending they were victims of forced labor. I think the reason that those ones didn't go through because they knew they were going to get a flood more. That's what I think. Claire, I'd like to see the details of these court procedures as well. Claire Headley's suit also alleged she was pressured to have 2 abortions to remain in good standing. Yeah, where is her justice in all the women that were forced to do abortions, like, you know, the good old Moloch sacrifices? Hold on. The church denied all claims and said Headley's abortions were her decision. They always do this. How many times have we heard this? Oh, that was an individual decision. I don't know what you call that. It's like their, oh, I don't know. What do you call that? Like their go-to to get out of stuff? Nobody's an individual in Scientology until someone speaks out about the abuses that they went through, then they're an individual. Especially the pedos. I mean, not when the pedos talk out, but when they let go of the pedos, they try to really scream individual. A federal judge dismissed the Headley suits last year. I want to see why they did this. Citing in part a ministerial... See? So the ministerial exception, you can abuse children, you can rape children, you can child traffic children, you can labor traffic adults, you can labor traffic elders, you can medically neglect elders, you can medically neglect children, you can medically, how do I say it? You know, there's all things that they're doing to the adults as well. And yes, they're compliant, but it is abuse. I just, inquiring effing minds want to know why the ministerial exception for all this. Other churches are doing some of this as well. But I think there are some really good, decent Christians and probably Muslims and other faiths that would really stand up to this. I really wish they would. Because then it would get really interesting. You guys know I'm not religious. But Winter argued that Montalvo would not be considered a church minister because he never conducted Scientology's core religious practice of auditing. Oh, you got to give him. I mean, it's just comical. Had this child slave. I'm sorry to call someone that, but that's what he was. He was a child slave. And this is the garbage. This is the only garbage they can spew out. It had little formal religious training in the church. The cult. You see what LAPD stands right next to? You guys think they don't know? Come on now. And I don't think every single thing related to this is the Blue Lodge or the Red Lodge. I don't think that's all of it. It's called being unethical. That's what it's called. It's called dereliction of police duties. That's what it's called. Facts. Look it up. Even if he were to be deemed a minister. Oh, they love that one. Go look it up. Oh, the R1 visa. Man, they'd be freaking cranking out ministers left and right so they can get more good slave labor from various countries. And I mean, it's not legal, but it's like some kind of trickery that they're doing. Even if he were to be deemed a minister, that does not excuse you from having to attend school. You see the circus tricks they do? The Department of Education's okay with it. Immigration and Naturalization Services, they're okay with it. Homeland Security's okay with it. Federal Bureau of Investigation is okay with it. CIA is okay with it. All of these agencies, these ABC agencies, totally fine with it. LAPD wouldn't even work with the Australian police in Miriam Francis's case. What does that tell you? Rest in peace, Officer Tipping. This is worse than the Charlie Brown wah 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 wah. That was just funny. Winter said, there is nothing in the case law that says the ministerial exception overrides child labor laws and compulsory school attendance laws. You see that? You know what? Oh my gosh, I'm so irritated by that statement. I'm going to have to take a screenshot. Trying to keep my swears down, but I'm going to say the F-bomb here and there. I ain't no freaking perfect, nor do I want to be. I just want to be real. He also addressed remarks by the judge in the Headley case. Maybe the case wasn't presented well. I bet you it would have gone differently if Streets had been there. I mean, we can't have Streets for everything, but dang, he's so smart. And I mean, he's smart enough to get the right lawyers as well. Who stated that the Headleys knew what they were getting into. Oh, you mean like when they were 3? You mean when they were 3 years old, right? I get so freaking raged by this stuff. When they joined the Sea Org and they could have left any time. Lies. When you lock them up in the child RPF, when you have them on 24-hour watch, they can leave. You guys, time is limited right now. It's limited. Winter noted Montalvo. I just can't even stand reading this spewing garbage, filth, low vibrational, vile content. Winter noted Montalvo was 5. Can you believe this? Going against a child. Is it any wonder how many pedos are floating around these units? When his parents entered the Sea Org with him. You see, that's another cover right there, you guys. They always say, when people come out and say, I joined the Sea Org at 5, or this kid was 5, or 6, or 9, their cover is their parents were with them. Bull crap, and you know it. You guys know they don't even allow parents to bring children, yet alone have children in there. Hello? and he could not have been expected to leave the group on his own. Okay, wait, you guys, I'm sorry. I'm not going to diss Winter. Sorry, Winter. Okay, wait. Winter is the lawyer. I'm sorry, Winter, that I got mixed up. I was dissing Goofy Tommy over there. He also addressed remarks by the judge in the Headley case, who stated that the Headleys... Okay, I'm going to try not to snap. Let's see. Okay, with him in tow, lawsuits seek unspecified damages. Winter's the man. The Headleys are appealing. You know, there's going to be more cases like this, but I think very soon we're going to see a rush of more cases, and they're going to appear in all different kind of forms. I don't think the labor ones are going to go as far, because they're always going to use this religious exception, you know, that they can work 5-year-olds and 15-year-olds. They're always going to use it. I mean, unless it goes to the Supreme Court or something like that. I don't know. Their allegations and those of Montalvo, mind you, he was a 5-year-old child, echo the claims of former church members who recently disclosed that they had been interviewed at length by FBI agents. Me personally, I don't trust any of this. You guys know what's up, right? FBI agents specializing in human trafficking. Whatever came of it, nothing. I don't trust those statements. The FBI has said it will not confirm or deny whether an investigation is taking place. Well, we see nothing's been done. It's 2011, nothing was done. More children were raped, more children were labor trafficked, more children were working and still are working anywhere from 18 to 24-hour days, not going to school. FBI, we see you did nothing. You did nothing. And more children were raped, more children were physically abused, more children were neglected because you didn't do anything. It's a fact. It's called dereliction of duty. Asked Friday whether Montalvo had been interviewed by the FBI, Winter would not comment. So that's another repugnant story of child abuse where nothing was done. I will leave the link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night wherever you are. Peace.